guys, what's going on? It is your old pal CHH. Can I just take a second to say that I think that 2023 has been one of the absolute best years for horror physical media. Now, this is not a release that you necessarily need to be a region-free person for. As a matter of fact, you really don't at all, which is a really cool thing, and I'll explain why. The release we're looking at today is the new limited edition collector's release of It Follows. Now, when this movie came out, I'll never forget hearing about the buzz of this. It was around 2015 or 16 maybe, and it might have even been 17. But I remember getting this movie, hearing about the buzz, and thinking to myself, I don't know what the big deal is about this. It Follows. The title's not that great. The cover art is like a couple in a car. I don't know. What's the big deal? It Follows was one of those movies where as I was watching it, I was like, this is going to be a cult hit. This is going to be a movie that's going to have a cult fan base, and it's going to grow. And it absolutely did. What I loved about It Follows was I noticed that there's this really strange sensibility that the movie has with the peripheral elements, not really anything that has to do with the storyline. But I remember watching it thinking, what year is this? This movie does a lot of things to kind of throw you off, to make you feel confused, but in a really casual, almost comfortable way. You know, all the kids in the movie, they're hanging around and they don't have cell phones, but then there's this one girl when they're sitting at the couch who has this weird seashell-looking iPhone, like a Kindle, where she's reading. It's like, okay, there's some serious technology there. But everybody else is like cell phone free, hanging out, watching TV on old CRT televisions. Then they even do weird stuff with what the weather is like outside. There's a scene where the two sisters are walking back from the gas stations, drinking these big gulps that I used to do as a kid with my friends. We'd walk out of the subdivision, go to the gas station. They'd have ices for, you know, like 99 cents in the summer for the big ones. One of them is dressed with a light little jacket on with shorts on and shoes, where our main star, this girl, is wearing a giant turtleneck, a big overcoat, jeans, boots up to the knee. What's the temperature supposed to be like outside? I gotta think that that's really intended by the filmmaker, and I would almost want to think that that would annoy me, but something about that, it's like, it throws me off, but I don't mind it. As a matter of fact, I actually think it's pretty unique. So the peripheral elements of this movie are what really interested me the most, I noticed. It was just like, wow, the filmmaker's really trying to make you be confused at what time of year or when this is. So kudos to that. I just think that was really cool. But It Follows' premise is as simple as what people could consider passing along a sexually transmitted disease. But instead of that, what happens with this is when you have sex with this person, they pass along to you this thing that comes after you. Now, the brilliance of this thing is that it could be something you know, something that scares you. It could be something that's toying with you. And the only way to get rid of it is to sleep with somebody else. Now, people put a lot of ideas of what that is in this movie, which I love hearing about. Me, I'm just along for the ride because I think this is a very exhilarating thrill ride of a horror film. I'll keep it pretty brief here because I think a lot of people have seen this movie. It's gotten the cult following it has for great reasons, but if you have not seen It Follows, I consider it to be one of the absolute best horror films of the 2010s. The music in this is also sensational. I don't remember watching too many films before this really have a prominent synthwave kind of score in it in horror, and I feel like this kind of catapulted that. Then I saw The Guest do the same thing, and now we're seeing Terrifier 2 do it, and a lot of other kind of 80s horror films do that. So I give a lot of props to It Follows. So let's talk about this release. Like I said, this is the Second Sight 4K collector's release. That's pretty thick. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it, and like I said, you really don't need to be region free for this. You could. It could help you, but you don't need to, which is really cool. So let's take a look at the release itself. We've got our main star on the front with a nice sleek black case. On the back, it's very subtle. We've got the car on the back, Second Sight Films, and then the spine shows It Follows on there. So the contents, let's have a look at that. So the first thing you'll get is your movies. Movies come in this. This is what the art looks like when you open it up. And you've got two discs. You've got a Blu-ray and a 4K disc with similar art styles, and we'll be looking at these together. Art cards from the film. These are cool. Hell of an opening in this film, too. Speaking of, there's the girl from the opening. So, very, very cool. Lastly, we get a hardcover book all about the making of It Follows, and I was breezing through this, and man, tons of information. Really, really cool. So, I mean, this is really, really cool. It's one thing that we're getting, like, kind of like booklets with some of these releases, but to get something like this, little ASMR for you, is remarkable. So, and for a movie like this, I wanted the bells and whistles because it deserves it. So, Second Sight Films' catalog, guys, is getting extremely interesting. Why did I say it doesn't matter if you're region free or not for this release? Well, because if you get this release, all the special features are on both discs, which means that the 4K disc, which 4K is a native region-free format, meaning you don't have to have any sort of region-free 4K player. 4K, the format itself, is region-free. Doesn't matter where you buy a 4K in the world, it will play in your PlayStation 5 or your 4K player or your Xbox Series X, whatever it's called. It will play in there. So you will be able to access not only the film, but all the special features. Let's look at the list of special features, and there's a lot of great new exclusive stuff. A dual format edition including both UHD and Blu-ray with main features and bonus features on both discs. There's a new 4K master produced by Second Sight Films and the original post-production facility. It is approved by director David Robert Mitchell. UHD presentation and Dolby Vision HDR. New Dolby Atmos audio track produced by Second Sight Films, and my god, it was great. New audio commentary by Joshua Grimm. You get an audio commentary by Danny Lee and Mark Jankovic. Chasing Ghosts, a new interview with actor Keir Gilchrist, and he is a total scene kid. He's got tattoos, black metal shirts on, rings, goat, devil cross necklaces. He's cool. Following a new interview with actor Olivia Liccardi. It's in the House, a new interview with producer David Kaplan. Composing a Masterpiece, a new interview with composer Rich Vreeland. A Girl's World, a new interview with production designer Michael Perry. It Follows, The Architecture of Loneliness, and a video essay by Joseph Wallace. Sensational release with a ton of new features, guys. Absolutely incredible. Guys, I love this release, and when it comes to the picture quality, was this the most impressive 4K I've ever seen? No, it was not. Was it great? Definitely. I'd give the 4K presentation an 8.5 out of 10. It really looked natural and great, despite this probably being a digitally shot film. What I noticed from a release like this, as opposed to the standard American Blu-rays that came out when the film was around, it kind of had a little bit of a shine to it, a sleekness to it. Not necessarily like a Scream 4 look, but it just looked like a Blu-ray that, you know, tried to look sharp. This takes everything back to a really nice, natural state, and some of the scenes you'll see, especially where there's the love scene in the car in the beginning when she's got her hand down, touching the grass coming out of the concrete, looked incredible. There certainly will be scenes in here that will be big standouts for you. So it's a good-looking 4K, and it actually makes the film look a lot more natural, which was important to me. So like I said, even though it's not the most impressive 4K you'll ever see, I think you'll be very, very happy. You'll certainly notice a difference, and it's going to be one hell of a way to watch this film from now on. So again, if you have a 4K player, you can get this release. There's a standard version of this release if you want to get that, but if not, you can get this release and get all these awesome bells and whistles. This is a hell of a release, guys. It Follows, the limited edition Second Sight Films 4K set. I give this release, including with all the features, a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this release. One of my favorite releases so far this year, guys. So I highly recommend getting your hands on this while it's available now. If not, if you're watching this 6 months from now, you could probably still get the standard release from Second Sight, no problem, 4K, and hell of a way to own and watch this film. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Please let me know your thoughts below on It Follows. When was the first time you saw it? Did it live up to the hype that you had in your head? And do you think it's bettering with age, and does it deserve its cult status? I certainly think so, but what do you think? Thank you guys for watching this video. This is your old pal CHH, and we'll see you guys very soon. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.